The past month has brought some incredible advancements in the world of AI. A new AI can now generate videos that look even more real than reality itself. Claude 3.5 has emerged, giving OpenAI's GPT-4 a serious challenge. Google DeepMind has made a breakthrough with AI Brain, unlocking the secrets of real human brains. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's XAI has introduced its SOCRATES model, and we have updates on GPT-5, along with notable moves from Apple and Meta in the AI space. Apple's integration of ChatGPT has sparked quite a reaction from Elon Musk. A company claims to have created the body for AGI, and Google DeepMind has launched V2A. Additionally, there's a new free Sora AI rival called Kling, and Dot is quickly becoming everyone's new AI best friend. For gamers, the first ever gaming AI assistant has been released. OpenAI is ambitiously planning to power superhuman AI with nuclear energy, but they're also facing significant challenges. We'll cover all these exciting updates and more in this video, so let's dive right in. If you've been following all the latest AI news and events, then you know everyone's been going nuts waiting for OpenAI to drop their new Sora model. But while we were all patiently waiting, this Chinese company called Kuaishou just went and dropped an absolute game changer out of nowhere. They released this wild new AI model called Kling, and man, it is blowing everyone's minds with what it can do. So let's get into it. Kling is a video generation model developed by Kuaishou, a company you might know from their popular app, Kwai. This new model is like Sora, but some are saying it might even be better in some areas. What's really cool is that Kling is open access, meaning more people can get their hands on it and see what it can do. Let me paint a picture for you. So a prompt that says, "A Chinese man sits at a table and eats noodles with chopsticks." Kling takes this and generates a video that looks almost too realistic. And if you remember that infamous video of Will Smith eating noodles that looked like something straight out of a horror movie, well, Kling's version puts that to shame. It's like night and day, seriously.
Hey, Uncle Phil, come try this.
Kling can generate videos up to 2 minutes long with just a single prompt, in full 1080p quality at 30 frames per second, which is actually pretty impressive. It accurately simulates real-world physical properties, which means the videos it creates don't just look good, they behave like real-life videos too. The magic behind Kling lies in its diffusion transformer architecture. This technology helps it translate rich textual prompts into vivid, realistic scenes. Plus, Kling uses a proprietary 3D VAE, that's variational autoencoder, and supports various aspect ratios thanks to variable resolution training. Basically, it can handle different video dimensions and still produce high-quality output. One of the standout features of this model is its advanced 3D face and body reconstruction technology. It allows it to create videos where characters show full expression and limb movements, all driven from a single full-body photo. So essentially, this tech is what makes the videos look so lifelike and consistent. Now, this whole thing is making it pretty clear that China is seriously stepping up its game when it comes to AI development. Kling is just a glimpse of what's coming out of the country, and it's giving us a hint that they might be ahead of the curve. OpenAI has said they'll release Sora by the end of the year, but with Kling already out, they might have some catching up to do. The big question, though, is whether China will make Kling available worldwide. Right now, it's accessible through the Kwai app, but you need a Chinese phone number to use it. Now, Kling isn't the first AI video generation model from China. Back in April, Kuaishou released V2A, which could create 16-second videos in 1080p resolution. Kling is the next evolution of that, offering longer videos with even better quality. If you check out Kling's website, you'll see some of their demo videos, and let me tell you, they're pretty impressive. For example, there's a video of an emperor angelfish swimming in a rocky underwater habitat, a man riding a horse in the Gobi Desert during sunset, and even a white cat driving a car through a busy urban street. These videos showcase the model's ability to handle complex scenes and movements while maintaining high quality. The technology behind Kling involves a 3D spatiotemporal joint attention mechanism, which helps it model complex movements and generate video content with larger motions that conform to the laws of physics. So, when you see a man riding a horse in the desert, the horse's movements, the dust trails, and even the sunset in the background all look just right. Kling also uses efficient training infrastructure and extreme inference optimization. This allows it to generate videos up to 2 minutes long at a smooth 30 FPS. One example they showed was a little boy riding a bicycle through different seasons in a garden. The video maintained high consistency and detail throughout, which is no small feat for AI-generated content. Another cool thing about this model is its strong concept combination ability. Like it can take different ideas and merge them into a single coherent video. Like this prompt, white cat driving a car through a bustling city. Footage like that doesn't exist in real life, but Kling can create it from scratch, making it look believable. It also excels in movie-quality image generation. The AI can produce videos that look like they were shot with a professional camera crew. One example they showed was a man and a woman walking under a starry sky with the stars moving in the background. The level of detail and quality in these videos is truly cinematic. What's more, Kling supports various video aspect ratios. Whether you need a square video for Instagram, a portrait for TikTok, or a landscape for YouTube, it can actually handle it all. And this flexibility is super useful for content creators who want to use the same video across different platforms. So let's talk about some more examples from the demos. One video shows a Chinese man eating noodles with chopsticks. The details are so precise that if you saw this at a lower resolution, you might not even realize it's AI generated. Another video shows a chef chopping onions in a kitchen, and the way the onions are cut and split by the knife is incredibly realistic. But the video I mentioned before, a cat driving a car through a busy street, this one is particularly impressive because it combines a lot of different elements: cars, buildings, pedestrians, and the cat's movements, all in one seamless video. Another demo features a volcano erupting inside a coffee cup, showing off Kling's ability to create fictional scenes that look convincingly real. And one of my favorites is a Lego character visiting an art gallery. The video captures the unique way Lego characters move, just like in the Lego movies. There's even a clever focus shift from one character to another, showing that Kling can handle depth and focus changes just like a real camera. Another standout feature is Kling's ability to simulate real-world physics. One demo shows milk being poured into a cup, with the milk flowing steadily and filling the cup realistically. This might seem simple, but it's actually quite challenging for AI to get these physical interactions right. Kling's technology is also capable of generating videos with temporal consistency. This means the AI maintains a logical flow and coherence over longer videos. In one example, a video of a train traveling through different landscapes stays consistent for the entire 2 minutes, which is really impressive. Overall, Kling is showing us that China is rapidly advancing in AI video generation technology. They're not just keeping up with the best models from the US. In some cases, they're surpassing them. This could lead to a competitive race in AI development, with countries striving to outdo each other, which might bring both exciting advancements and potential risks. I can't wait to see how OpenAI responds to this Kling AI model from Kuaishou. It definitely seems like they're going to want to get their Sora model out there sooner than originally planned to keep up with the competition. But while we're all eagerly awaiting OpenAI's response and reaction to Kling, we're also getting some really interesting news from the company itself. In a surprising move, OpenAI has revived its robotics team after disbanding it 3 years ago. With AI-driven robotics investments surging, the company is now actively hiring research engineers for this newly reassembled team. While specifics are under wraps, job listings indicate the engineers will focus on training multimodal models, developing features for partners, and optimizing core models. Interestingly, OpenAI aims to integrate its tech into other companies' robotic systems rather than competing directly. Over the past year, OpenAI's venture fund has invested in several humanoid robotics companies like Figure AI, whose robot leverages OpenAI's models. This collaboration hints at a promising future for AI-powered robotics. Robotics has always been key to OpenAI's mission, and this revival suggests a strategic pivot to capitalize on the integration of AI and robotics. Anthropic has just launched Claude 3.5 Sonnet, a new AI model that's being compared to OpenAI's GPT-4 in terms of performance. They've also introduced some exciting new features, making Claude 3.5 Sonnet more skilled at understanding humor, handling complex workflows, and interpreting charts and graphs. Alright, so what's the deal with Claude 3.5 Sonnet? Well, it's Anthropic's newest AI model, and it's already generating some pretty big hype in the AI world. But let's start with the basics. Claude 3.5 Sonnet is part of Anthropic's AI model lineup. They've got this whole naming system going on. Haiku for the smallest model, Sonnet for the middle one, and Opus for the top tier. It's a bit quirky, but hey, every AI company seems to have their own weird naming conventions these days. Now, Anthropic is claiming that Claude 3.5 Sonnet can go toe-to-toe with, or even outperform, some of the heavy hitters in the AI world. We're talking about models like OpenAI's GPT-4 and Google's Gemini 1.5. That's a pretty bold statement, right? Anthropic says that 3.5 Sonnet is actually better than their previous top model, Claude 3 Opus. And get this, it's apparently twice as fast. That's a huge deal when it comes to AI performance. Now, Anthropic has released some benchmark scores, and I've got to say, they look pretty impressive. Claude 3.5 Sonnet outscored GPT-4o, Gemini 1.5 Pro, and even Meta's Llama 3400B in most of the benchmarks they tested. And this includes areas like graduate-level reasoning, undergraduate-level knowledge, and coding skills. But here's the thing. We always need to take these benchmark scores with a grain of salt. The AI world moves so fast that today's top performer could be old news tomorrow. Plus, companies can cherry-pick the benchmarks that make them look good. So while these scores are definitely promising, we'll have to see how Claude 3.5 Sonnet performs in real-world applications. Speaking of real-world applications, let's talk about what this new model can actually do. According to Anthropic, Claude 3.5 Sonnet is much better at writing and translating code. It can handle complex multi-step workflows more efficiently. And here's a cool one. It's apparently way better at interpreting charts and graphs. But there's one improvement that I find particularly interesting. Anthropic says that this new Claude is better at understanding humor and can write in a more human-like way. Now that's something I'd love to see in action. An AI assistant that can actually get your jokes and make you laugh. Oh, and here's a neat little tidbit. Claude 3.5 Sonnet can apparently transcribe text from images more accurately. That could be super useful for all sorts of applications, from digitizing old documents to helping with visual accessibility. Now, let's talk about availability. If you're itching to try out Claude 3.5 Sonnet, you're in luck. It's already available for free on Claude.ai and the Claude iOS app. If you're a subscriber to Claude Pro or their team plans, you'll get higher usage limits. And for the developers out there, you can access it through Anthropic's API, Amazon Bedrock, and Google Cloud's Vertex AI. Also, Anthropic has set up a pretty affordable pricing model for this AI through Anthropic's API. It costs $3 per million input tokens and $15 per million output tokens. This basically means every time you feed information to the AI or get results back, you're using tokens, and these prices are quite competitive in the AI market. Another cool thing is the 200K token context window. This might sound technical, but it's actually really important. It means Claude can handle much larger chunks of information at once. So if you're working on a big project that involves a lot of data, Claude can process it all without getting overwhelmed. But Anthropic isn't just improving their AI model, they're also rolling out a new feature called artifacts. And this is pretty cool, folks. Basically, it lets you see and interact with the results of your request to Claude right in the app. So, if you ask Claude to design something for you, you can now see what it looks like and even edit it right there. Think about it. If Claude writes an email for you, you can edit it directly in the Claude app instead of having to copy it to a text editor. It might seem like a small thing, but it's actually a really smart move. These AI tools need to evolve beyond just being chatbots. And features like artifacts are a step in that direction. This artifacts feature might be giving us a glimpse into Anthropic's long-term vision for Claude. They've always said they're mainly focused on businesses, even though they've been hiring some big names from the consumer tech world. In their press release, they talked about turning Claude into a tool for companies to securely centralize their knowledge, documents, and ongoing work in one shared space. That sounds less like a chatbot and more like a full-fledged productivity platform, doesn't it? We might be looking at something that could compete with tools like Notion or Slack, but with Anthropic's powerful AI models at the core. That's a pretty exciting prospect if you ask me. The pace of improvement in AI is just mind-blowing. Anthropic launched Claude 3 Opus in March, saying it was as good as GPT-4 and Gemini 1.0. Then OpenAI and Google released better versions of their models, and now just a few months later, Anthropic is back with Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Now I know Claude doesn't get as much attention as Gemini or ChatGPT, but make no mistake, it's very much in the race. And with improvements like these, it's definitely a contender to watch. Let's talk a bit more about some of the specific improvements in Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Anthropic did an internal evaluation of what they call agentic coding. Basically, they tested how well the AI could fix bugs or add new features to an open source code base when given a description of what needed to be done.
Here you're going to see Claude edit the function file to fix the bug, and now Claude's going to rerun those tests, and the tests are passing. So now if we rerun the function, look, our image no longer has that white background. Thanks, Claude.
Claude 3.5 Sonnet solved 64% of these problems, compared to only 38% for the previous model. That's a huge jump. Now, let's address safety and privacy because these are huge concerns when it comes to AI. Anthropic says they've put Claude 3.5 Sonnet through rigorous testing and trained it to reduce misuse. They've even brought in external experts to evaluate the model's safety, including the UK's Artificial Intelligence Safety Institute. They've also incorporated feedback from outside experts to make sure their safety evaluations are robust and up to date. For example, they worked with child safety experts from an organization called Thorn to update their classifiers and fine-tune their models. And here's some reassuring news for those concerned about data privacy. Anthropic says they don't train their generative models on user-submitted data unless the user explicitly gives them permission to do so. That's a pretty strong stance on privacy in a world where data is often seen as the new gold. So, what's on the horizon for Anthropic? They're not taking a break anytime soon. Later this year, they plan to roll out Claude 3.5 Haiku and Claude 3.5 Opus, completing the Claude 3.5 model family. They're also developing exciting new features, like one called Memory, which will enable Claude to remember user preferences and interaction history, making the AI experience more personalized and efficient. They're also exploring new modalities and features to support more use cases for businesses, including integrations with enterprise applications. It's clear that Anthropic is gunning for the business market in a big way. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground here, but there's one more thing I want to mention. Anthropic is really emphasizing their commitment to improving the trade-off between intelligence, speed, and cost. They're aiming to make substantial improvements in this area every few months. That's an ambitious goal, but if they can pull it off, it could really shake up the AI industry. It's an exciting time to be following these developments, and I can't wait to see what comes next. What do you think about Claude 3.5 Sonnet? Are you excited to try it and see how it compares to other AI models? Let me know in the comments below. In this video, we will be talking about one of the most incredible breakthroughs at the intersection of neuroscience and artificial intelligence. Researchers from Harvard University and Google DeepMind have achieved something really astonishing. They've created an artificial brain for a virtual rat that can control the rat's movements in an ultra-realistic physics simulation. This groundbreaking work, which was published in the prestigious journal Nature, opens up huge new possibilities for understanding how real brains work and how they control complex behaviors. It could also lead to more advanced and adaptive robots in the future. So let's break down exactly what this Harvard DeepMind team has accomplished and why it's such a game-changing achievement. All right, so the first monumental task was constructing an accurate biomechanical model of a rat's body in a sophisticated physics simulator called Mujoko. This virtual rat had to obey the laws of physics, with factors like gravity, friction, and the musculoskeletal mechanics of a real rodent's body coming into play. The researchers drew from a vast data set of high-resolution motion data recorded from real rats engaging in all kinds of natural behaviors and movements. This gave them an incredibly rich source of information to build and validate their virtual rodent model. But having an anatomically accurate rat body was just the first step. The team then had to create an artificial neural network that could learn to control this virtual body's biomechanics and replicate the diversity of movements seen in the biological data. This is where Google DeepMind's expertise in machine learning came into play in a huge way. The DeepMind researchers collaborated closely with Harvard to apply advanced deep reinforcement learning techniques to train the artificial neural network, which would serve as the virtual rat's brain. Specifically, they used an approach called inverse dynamics modeling, which is how our own brains are theorized to control complex movement. When you reach for a glass, your brain doesn't manually move each muscle. Instead, it rapidly calculates the desired trajectory and translates that into the required forces and torques to make it happen smoothly. The virtual rat's neural network was fed reference motion trajectories from the real rat data as inputs. Through deep reinforcement learning, it learned to output the precise pattern of forces that could actuate the virtual body's joints and musculature to successfully recreate those trajectories in the physics simulation. What makes this even more remarkable is that the neural network could generalize what it learned to produce realistic rat behaviors and movement sequences that it was never explicitly trained on. Just like a biological brain, it exhibited broad generalization capabilities. Now, with this virtual rat brain successfully controlling the biomechanical model, the researchers could then probe the activations and dynamics within the neural network to gain insights into how real rat brains might control movement. Stunningly, they found that the patterns of neural activity in the virtual brain lined up incredibly well with neural recordings made from motor cortex and other brain regions in behaving rats. This suggests the deep learning algorithm discovered internal models and motor control principles similar to those employed by biological brains. One of the key properties the virtual brain exhibited was the ability to spontaneously transition between different operational regimes based on context, closely mirroring how rodent brain dynamics are observed to switch between distinct patterns for different behaviors like grooming, running, or rearing. The researchers could also analyze how the network dealt with redundancy. Since there are typically multiple ways to achieve a given movement trajectory, how did it choose the optimal solution? The virtual brain appeared to implement a minimal intervention strategy to make only the minute corrections needed, avoiding unnecessary expenditure of energy or forces. Now, this aligns with theories of optimal feedback control that neuroscientists believe biological motor systems evolved to implement. The virtual rat's brain was discovering these principles from scratch, simply by trying to generate naturalistic movement. Another powerful insight came from analyzing how variability or noise in the neural activations mapped to variability in the virtual rat's kinematics and dynamics. There were clearly structured patterns in how neural fluctuations cause specific types of movement deviations. This kind of variability signature is essentially invisible from just looking at the overall movements, but a window into it could shed light on the neural coding strategies used by the brain. Having a fully observable and controllable virtual system made these insights possible. All right, now, while there's still much more to explore, it's clear this virtual rat brain has opened up a new paradigm for investigating motor control and broader brain function that was simply intractable before. Rather than being limited to just recording neural signals during behavior, neuroscientists can now probe and perturb an accessible model of the entire brain-body environment control loop in simulation. It's a new frontier of what some have dubbed virtual neuroscience. This virtual rat platform provides a convenient sandbox for testing theories about how neural circuits implement specific computational processes like state estimation, predictive modeling, optimizing costs and rewards, and orchestrating coordinated patterns of movement. Even more powerfully, it allows constructing simulated neural networks with arbitrary architecture, connectivity patterns, neuron properties, and learning rules, then seeing how they give rise to emergent dynamics and behavioral capabilities. It's an unprecedentedly transparent window into the neural mechanisms behind both overt actions and the covert cognitive processes supporting them. Perfectly controlled experiments and causal manipulations become possible in a way that's vastly more difficult with biological specimens alone. There are also exciting opportunities to use these kinds of virtual brain-body models to simulate neurological conditions or injuries by introducing targeted perturbations or lesions. It could provide a powerful new way to gain insights into brain disorders and test putative therapies or neural prosthetics in silico before animal trials. And then, even if we go beyond the neuroscientific implications, this advancement also has immense potential for revolutionizing robotic control by reverse engineering how biological intelligence emerges from distributed neural dynamics. While classical control theory has given us robots that can perform specific pre-programmed routines, modern AI and deep learning has already shown an ability to generalize and respond to open-ended real-world environments in more flexible, intelligent ways. However, most existing robots are still incredibly clumsy and inefficient compared to even a simple animal nervous system's ability to coordinate dexterous movement using distributed sensor motor control loops deeply entangled with the physics of their embodiment. By studying how the virtual rat brain coordinates its virtual biomechanics, roboticists may be able to abstract out the core principles and neural architectures responsible for this biological intelligence and port them into new robotic platforms. We could see robots that dynamically adapt their control strategies in response to their environments, develop realistic general movement skills, optimize force and energy expenditure like animals do, maintain robust operation despite sensor or mechanical failures, and ultimately become far more versatile and capable autonomous systems. Alright, now I want to talk about nuclear fusion, which is a hot topic lately, and while you might be wondering what nuclear fusion simulation has to do with any of this neuroscience stuff, Well, while it may seem unrelated on the surface, there are deep connections in terms of the tools and approaches being used. As part of their work on studying massively complex scientific phenomena, the researchers at Google DeepMind have developed Torax, an open-source differentiable tokamak core transport simulator implemented using advanced machine learning frameworks like JAX. Torax can simulate the flow of particles, heat, and electrical currents inside the core of an experimental nuclear fusion reactor, which is an extraordinarily complex coupled system of nonlinear differential equations describing magnetohydrodynamic plasma physics. Like the virtual rat brain work, a key innovation in Torax is its tight integration with powerful machine learning techniques to solve these kinds of incredibly high-dimensional physical modeling challenges. Specifically, Torax leverages JAX to enable just-in-time compilation for lightning-fast compute times, as well as automatic differentiation to be able to compute gradients of the entire plasma simulation pipeline. This allows using gradient-based optimization methods to calibrate the parameters and couple data-driven machine learning surrogate models, like neural networks trained on gyrokinetic turbulence simulations into the core physical calculations. So in essence, Torax combines high-fidelity physics modeling with state-of-the-art machine learning in a differentiable programming framework, an approach very similar in spirit to what enabled the virtual rat brain breakthrough. Both are exemplars of a powerful new paradigm for tackling the mind-bogglingly intricate problems in computational neuroscience, biophysics, plasma physics, and many other domains of complex systems analysis. In fields like materials science and chemistry, we could virtually prototype new materials by simulating their atomic and molecular dynamics using physics-constrained machine learning models. This would speed up the design and discovery of novel compounds with customized properties for things like energy storage, catalysis, and quantum computing. Similarly, for aerospace engineering, virtual models with AI could drive breakthroughs by optimizing aircraft and propulsion system designs through realistic simulations of aerodynamics and turbulent fluid flows combined with learned surrogate models. The possibilities even extend to fundamental physics. Projects like the virtual muon experiments at Fermilab are using differentiable simulation and AI to analyze massive particle collision data, enabling new insights into the nature of matter and forces at the subatomic scale. As these virtual modeling capabilities improve, we might even be able to create digital twins or simulations of entire cities, societies, economies, and ecosystems, essentially massive multiplayer simulations to play out scenarios and policies before the real thing, straight out of sci-fi. Of course, as these virtual world simulations become hyper-realistic, they raise profound ethical questions about preventing self-awareness or existential risks. Like, what are the implications of virtually replicating conscious minds? Deep issues we'll need to tackle. But there's no doubt that the rise of virtual modeling and AI-accelerated simulation is a pivotal shift for understanding and engineering complex systems across science, technology, and even social systems. A new age driven by cutting-edge simulations and AI. There are some exciting news from Google, but there's also a bit of controversy to unpack. So let's just get started. Google just announced a massive update with their video generation model called Veo. This model is part of their DeepMind project, and now it can create video clips from a single reference image. Essentially, you give it a picture and some text instructions, and it can generate a whole video clip based on that. For example, they showed off an image prompt where a woman's hands are holding a large amethyst crystal. Her nails are painted purple, and she has a gold ring on her pinky finger. The new model took that and generated a video clip that looks just like the original style, but animated. As you can see, there's no loss in quality, no glitches or anything like that. It's incredibly realistic, maybe even a bit too realistic. Another example was an elderly woman wearing a straw hat and a pink jacket sitting next to a brown and white dog. Both are looking off into the distance with serene expressions. The text prompt for the video was, "A woman gazes lovingly at her loyal dog." It's pretty amazing how it captures the essence and details from just a single image. Now, they also introduced Video FX Update, which now allows developers to create full HD videos from text prompts using Veo. So, whether you're an artist, content creator, or developer, this tool could actually change the basics of how you produce video content. Google has also introduced a new Gemini AI button in the side panel of several Google Suite apps like Gmail, Google Drive, Docs, Sheets, and Slides. With this button, you can ask questions, write emails, and get summaries of documents and email threads. However, it's still unclear when these features will be available for everyone to use, as developers are still working on making the interfaces user-friendly. Now, While this technology is super exciting, Google is facing some serious challenges with their AI search features. As we all already know, recently they rolled out AI overviews in Google Search, designed to give you a quick summary of complex questions, kind of like a smarter, more detailed search result. However, there have been some hiccups. People on social media have pointed out some odd and inaccurate AI overviews. For instance, there were reports of AI overviews providing strange or misleading advice from user-generated content on forums. One funny example was an overview about how many rocks someone should eat. Obviously, that's not a common or sensible question. Now, Google has been quick to address these issues. First, they rolled back the new AI overviews feature in search, and then they released a post saying that they've made technical improvements to better detect nonsensical queries and limit satire or humor content. They've also refined how they handle user-generated content to avoid misleading information. Plus, they've put additional guardrails in place for sensitive topics like news and health. It's clear Google is committed to improving these tools, but the recent mishaps have highlighted some of the challenges they face in making sure their AI is accurate and reliable. All right, now we also have some news regarding Elon Musk's AI company, XAI, and their latest developments with the Grok AI chatbot. If you're already familiar with Grok, you know it's a pretty impressive tool that's available online and through the X social platform. Well, it looks like XAI is gearing up to roll out 2 new modes for Grok, SOCRATES and DEI. According to the X Daily News, XAI might soon introduce these 2 new modes. Grok already has a few modes, including normal mode, fun mode, and the recently announced unhinged mode, which offers a more unpredictable and entertaining interaction style. First, let's talk about the DEI mode. This stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. When you select this mode, Grok will be described as the Senior Vice President of DE&I, okay? Even the Grok icon gets a makeover and becomes more colorful. The idea here is that Grok will handle responses with a focus on inclusivity and sensitivity. Now, there's been some chatter on social media about this mode. For example, Testing Catalog on X mentioned that they're curious if this is Elon Musk poking fun at companies like Google, or if it's a genuine effort to promote DE&I. Honestly, I think it could be a bit of both. Knowing Elon, he loves to stir the pot, but it also seems like a must-have addition, given today's emphasis on inclusivity. According to another X post, this mode is already implemented and functioning on the standalone version of Grok, but it's not available to the public just yet. The standalone Grok is only accessible in the US for now, and if you ask Grok an incorrect question in this mode, it's designed to handle the response thoughtfully, addressing all the nuances. Now, the Socrates mode, named after the famous philosopher, this mode isn't operational yet, but there are hints it's in the works. While details are scarce, we can imagine that Socrates mode might involve Grok taking on a more inquisitive and thoughtful personality, prompting users to think deeper and engage in more meaningful conversations. It's actually exciting to see how XAI is expanding Grok's capabilities, making it more versatile and engaging for users. All right, now, if you're into making videos, podcasts, movies, or even games, you're gonna love this. 11 Labs, already known for their AI-generated human voices and music, has just launched a sound effects AI tool that lets you create custom sound effects just by typing in a prompt. So here's how it works. You type in what kind of sound effect you need. Maybe it's an explosion, a creaky door, or some spooky background noise. And the AI generates up to 22 seconds of that sound for you. You get at least 4 downloadable audio clip options to choose from, so you can pick the one that fits your project best. 11 Labs actually partnered with Shutterstock to build a library and train their AI model. Shutterstock is a big name in stock media, and they've licensed their content to lots of AI companies like OpenAI, Meta, and Google. This means the sound effects you get from 11 Labs are based on high-quality professional clips.
Create any sound you can imagine.
Now, let's talk about the cost. The sound effects tool is free to use, but there are paid tiers if you want to use the sounds commercially. If you're on the free tier, you'll need to give credit to 11 Labs by including 11labs.io in your project's title. Free users get 10,000 characters per month for writing prompts. For sound effects, it uses 40 characters per second of audio if you set the duration yourself, or 200 characters if you go with the default duration. There are already plenty of libraries out there for sound effects, but they can be pricey or hard to navigate. 11 Labs says their tool is designed to generate rich, immersive soundscapes quickly, affordably, and at scale. This could be a game changer for creators who need specific sounds without the hassle. 11 Labs isn't the only one in the game, though. Other AI developers like Stability AI and Meta are also working on their own text-to-sound generators. Stability AI has stable audio, which can create music and sound effects. And Meta's AudioCraft models can generate natural sounds like wind or traffic. Alright, finally, I have to tell you about this super cool invention from researchers at Cambridge University, a robotic third thumb. And it's not some weird extra finger made of flesh, it's a mechanical digit that's surprisingly easy to use. The researchers showed off this third thumb in a demo video, and it looks like it can be used for all sorts of things. People were doing everyday tasks, playing games like Jenga, soldering, and even playing the guitar with it. It's pretty impressive. It's designed to be inclusive for all sorts of people. They tested it with folks aged from 3 to 96 years old. Out of 596 people, only 13 couldn't use it within the first minute. That's a 98% success rate. It didn't matter if you were young, old, left-handed, or right-handed. Almost everyone got the hang of it quickly. So how do you control this third thumb? It's funny, actually, because there are no sensors or probes attached to your hand. Instead, you use your toes. Moving your left big toe makes the thumb go up and down, and your right toe moves it across your palm. You can make all sorts of precise movements just by wiggling your toes. The researchers believe this third thumb could be useful for a wide range of people, regardless of their age, gender, lifestyle, or even whether they're tech-savvy or not. It could help with daily tasks, work, or just for fun. Plus, it might be a great tool for people who are missing a finger or two. Exciting stuff on the agenda today. We're looking at the upcoming GPT-5 model that's set to change the AI game, a potential team-up between Apple and Meta, and some jaw-dropping tests on robot dogs from China. Let's kick things off with GPT-5, since that's probably why most of you are here. Now, it's not officially called GPT-5 yet, but given the naming pattern, that's probably what it'll be called. According to Mira Murati, the next GPT model is going to be a massive breakthrough in AI. Mira, who is the Chief Technology Officer at OpenAI, recently shared some exciting insights. First off, let's talk about the intelligence levels. If you think about the earlier models like GPT-3, Murati compared them to having the intelligence level of a toddler. They could do some pretty cool stuff, but were still relatively limited. Then came GPT-4, which Murati described as having the intelligence of a smart high schooler. It was more sophisticated and capable of handling a wider range of tasks. Now, the exciting part is that GPT-5 is expected to be at a PhD level in terms of intelligence for specific tasks. To be honest, that sounds as a huge jump. But how do we get from a high schooler to a PhD? Murati explained that the secret sauce is a combination of three things: neural networks, a ton of data, and a massive amount of computing power. When you combine these, you get what we call deep learning. Essentially, this allows the AI to learn and understand complex patterns in the data, which leads to improved performance over time. This combination has been driving the progress in AI, and it's what will make GPT-5 such a game changer. Murati mentioned that these systems are already performing at human levels in specific tasks, and this is only going to get better. Alright, let's address the big question: when is GPT-5 coming out? While there's no official release date yet, Murati hinted that we can expect this next-gen model to arrive in about 18 months. That's roughly a year and a half, which is pretty exciting. Considering this timeline, all the hype about reaching AGI by 2027 starts to make more sense. Whether that's a good or bad thing is up for debate, but it definitely seems possible now. Murati explained that the development involves a lot of research and testing. They don't just want to release a new model, they want to make sure it's safe and beneficial for society. This means working on both the capabilities of the AI and the safety measures needed to manage those capabilities effectively. One of the key points Murati emphasized is that developing capabilities and ensuring safety go hand in hand. As the AI becomes smarter, it also becomes easier to direct and manage. Think of it like training a smart dog versus a less intelligent one. The smarter one understands and follows commands better, making it safer to interact with. This approach is crucial because with great power
comes great responsibility.
OpenAI is very aware of the potential risks and is working hard to mitigate them. For example, they are developing methods to predict the capabilities of these models before they're fully trained. This helps them prepare the necessary guardrails to ensure the AI behaves as expected. Looking ahead, One of the most exciting possibilities is the development of AI agents. These are AI systems that can connect to the internet, communicate with each other, and collaborate with humans. Murati talked about the concept of AI agents working together seamlessly, which could revolutionize how we interact with technology. These agents could handle tasks autonomously, freeing up our time for more creative and complex activities. So, essentially, GPT-5 is set to transform numerous industries. We're already seeing AI making waves in fields like finance, healthcare, and customer service. But with the advanced capabilities of GPT-5, the impact will be even more profound. Of course, with any technological advancement, there are concerns about job displacement. Murati acknowledged that while some jobs might be lost, new ones will also be created. The key is understanding how these AI systems can integrate into workflows and help people become more productive. To be honest, it's still early days and we don't fully understand the impact AI will have on jobs. But there's a huge potential for AI to augment human capabilities, making us more efficient and opening up new opportunities. Another important aspect is regulation. Murati and OpenAI are advocating for more regulation, especially for frontier models like GPT-5 that have immense capabilities. They believe it's crucial to work with policymakers and regulators to ensure these technologies are used responsibly. This includes setting up guidelines for how AI should be used and implementing measures to prevent misuse. For example, they're working on watermarking and content policies to manage misinformation, especially given the rise of deepfakes and other potential issues. All right, switching gears a bit from GPT-5, remember a few weeks ago when there was talk about an OpenAI and Apple partnership? Well, recent reports suggest that Apple is also exploring options with other AI giants. According to the Wall Street Journal, the tech giant has been in discussions with Meta about potentially integrating Meta's generative AI models into Apple Intelligence, the AI suite announced at WWDC 2024. The report states that Meta, along with other companies developing cutting-edge generative AI, is keen to leverage Apple's massive distribution network through its ubiquitous iPhone. This move would parallel Apple's existing App Store model, where users can choose from a vast array of third-party applications. If these talks bear fruit, Apple's customers could potentially have the option to select which external AI models they wish to employ, in addition to Apple's proprietary AI systems. This versatility would allow users to tailor their AI experiences based on their specific needs and preferences. Meta's foray into the generative AI arena began with the release of its large language model, LLaMA 2, in July 2023, followed by the more advanced LLaMA 3 in April of this year. While LLaMA has already gained significant traction within the tech community, a partnership with Apple could solidify Meta's position as a dominant force in the AI landscape. However, it's important to note that these discussions are still in their early stages, and there is no guarantee of a finalized deal. The Wall Street Journal cautioned that negotiations could ultimately fall through, leaving the potential partnership in limbo. All right, now we've also got some pretty wild news from China, where they've been putting robot dogs to the test in some pretty extreme ways. Unitree Robotics, a Chinese company, recently shared footage of their robot dogs being kicked, hit with sticks, and even thrown to the ground. Now, I know this might sound shocking, and it really is quite intense to watch, but there's a purpose behind these harsh tests. The developers at Unitree Robotics are using these aggressive methods to improve the robot's balance and recovery algorithms. Basically, they want to make sure these robot dogs can handle strong and unexpected physical impacts and get back on their feet quickly. In the video, you can see the robots, named Go2 and B2, enduring all sorts of rough treatment. They're kicked, hit hard with wooden sticks, and tossed around. But it's not all about the abuse. The video also shows these robots navigating rough terrain and even doing 3 consecutive flips without stopping. The impressive adaptability of these robots comes from a control algorithm based on reinforcement learning. This means they learn and improve from each action they take, getting better at maintaining their balance and handling tricky situations. Unitree Robotics is one of the first startups in the world to sell robot dogs publicly. The company was founded by Xing Wang, who developed his first robot dog, X-Dog, during his graduate studies in 2016. By September 2017, they introduced another 4-legged robot named Laika Go, inspired by the famous space dog Laika. And recently, China's Central Television featured a report on joint military exercises between the People's Liberation Army of China and Cambodia's army called Golden Dragon 2024. These exercises included practical scenarios using armed robot dogs. The robots used in these drills were modified versions of Unitree's Go-To model, showing just how versatile and potentially useful these robots can be in various situations. Apple brought the heat in a major way with their new personal intelligence system called Apple Intelligence. We're talking a genuine game changer that could flip the entire AI game on its head. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but Apple is usually so behind the curve when it comes to AI, right? Let me stop you right there. Because with Apple Intelligence, they've straight up leapfrogged the competition in certain areas. This smart system is packing some seriously powerful generative AI models integrated at the core across your iPhone, iPad, and Mac devices. And it's not like it is providing generic one-size-fits-all AI assistance. This thing actually taps into your personal context, habits, activities, all that good stuff to deliver intelligence that is tailored specifically for you and how you operate. This could be the first real personal AI companion that deeply understands you as an individual while still taking care of your privacy, even though Elon Musk would not agree with this statement. But we will talk about that a bit later in the video. Anyway, according to Apple, with Apple Intelligence, they are implementing intense security and encryption at every single step to ensure your personal data remains fully protected. And in this era of non-stop data breaches and privacy fiascos, that kind of commitment is absolutely massive. All right, now let's get into some of the cool new AI features Apple is bringing to the table with this system. One that immediately caught my eye is notification prioritization on your iPhone. We've all been there. Your phone is just relentlessly blowing up with notifications all day, every day. It gets so overwhelming that you end up missing something legit important. Well, Apple Intelligence aims to solve that by actually prioritizing and filtering your notifications based on importance, minimizing distractions, while ensuring you don't miss the crucial stuff.
Your priority notifications appear at the top of the stack, letting you know what to pay attention to at a glance. And to make scanning your notifications faster, they're summarized.
It is also powering brand spanking new AI-driven writing tools that are integrated across Apple's ecosystem. So essentially, we will have an AI writing assistant embedded into iPhone, iPad, Mac that helps us crafting emails, reports, social media posts, etc. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Apple has introduced this functionality called private cloud compute that allows Apple Intelligence to flex its computational muscle by seamlessly tapping into even larger, more powerful AI models running on Apple's servers. Basically the brain power of a supercomputer, but coupled with Apple's signature privacy and security protections.
A brand new standard for privacy and AI, and unlocks intelligence you can trust.
These cloud-based AI models are running on custom Apple Silicon servers that were designed from the ground up with a heavy focus on security and transparency. They utilize the Swift programming language, which has robustness and protection baked into its core. And get this, Apple is offering complete transparency into how these systems operate, which is somehow a reassuring thing for me. But we're still just getting started. They've taken Siri, their iconic virtual assistant, and integrated it even deeper into the overall system experience across Apple's products. When you chat with Siri now, you'll see this glowing light animating around the borders of your screen, creating this super immersive, lifelike interaction.
What does the weather look like for tomorrow at Muir Beach? Oh wait, I meant Muir Woods.
The forecast is calling for clear skies in the morning near Muir Woods National Monument.
Plus, thanks to major upgrades to Siri's language understanding capabilities, you can now talk to it in a much more natural, conversational style. Even if you stumble over your words, rephrase things on the fly, or use imperfect grammar.
Create an event for a hike there tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Hike is scheduled for 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on June 11th.
I didn't have to mention Muir Woods again. Siri understood what I meant when I said there.
Another innovative feature Apple unveiled is Image Wand. If you're sketching something on your iPad with an Apple Pencil, you can just circle your rough sketch and the AI will analyze it along with any text you've written. Then it creates a cleaned up, high-quality version of your image right in your notes or project. Oh, and Apple has also cooked up this new cleanup tool leveraging their AI tech. Basically, it can automatically detect distracting objects or elements in the background of your photos and seamlessly remove them while keeping the primary subject intact. And now, let me hit you with possibly the biggest bombshell of them all. Apple is integrating none other than ChatGPT directly into their ecosystem and experiences.
So Siri can tap into ChatGPT's expertise when it might be helpful for you.
That's right. The pioneer, the one that started the generative AI revolution, ChatGPT will be woven into Apple's software stack in a huge way. Absolute insanity.
You can also ask questions related to your documents, presentations, or PDFs. You'll be able to access ChatGPT for free without creating an account.
But not everyone think that's a great idea. While undoubtedly a huge move that supercharges Apple's AI efforts by leveraging ChatGPT's strengths, this controversial partnership is already drawing major backlash from none other than Elon Musk. The Tesla and SpaceX CEO, who co-founded OpenAI before leaving over disagreements, went on an angry rant about the news on his social media platform X. Musk stated that if Apple goes through with integrating OpenAI at the operating system level, he would consider it an unacceptable security violation and would ban Apple devices at his companies. He threatened that any visitors would have to surrender their Apple devices at the door, where they would be stored in a special Faraday cage that blocks crucial wireless signals like cellular, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. Musk accused Apple of being clueless about what happens once they hand your data over to OpenAI, claiming they are essentially selling you down the river with this partnership. This fiery reaction seems rooted in Musk's long-standing feud with OpenAI, the company he helped establish but later departed amid clashes over its direction. OpenAI has dismissed Musk's claims as frivolous and simply him being jealous of their success without his involvement anymore. Despite Musk's theatrical threats of an Apple ban, it may be difficult for him to actually follow through given how many major tech giants like Google, Samsung, and Microsoft have already integrated advanced AI across their platforms and operating systems. Some experts suggest Apple's approach of trying to process AI locally on device as much as possible, only engaging OpenAI after explicitly asking permission, could make their implementation more privacy conscious compared to certain rivals' methods. So at this point, the only question is when we can actually get our hands on these incredible AI capabilities. Well, developer betas for Apple's new operating systems with full Apple Intelligence integration are already out for devs to start tinkering with. Then next month, public betas will start rolling out so more people can take it for a spin. And finally this fall, we're looking at the full, stable release packed with all of these transformative AI features shipping out to everyone. I've got to say, Apple really swung for the fences and knocked it out of the park with this whole Apple Intelligence announcement. They've fully embraced cutting-edge generative AI and deep learning while still making user privacy, data security, and personalization the absolute top priorities. But now I want to hear from you. Are you over the moon about these game-changing AI integrations from Apple? Maybe you've got some skepticism or privacy worries you want to voice, or any other burning thoughts, predictions, or theories you're itching to discuss. You might remember a little while back when I covered Robot Era, that ambitious startup that unveiled their crazy dexterous XHAND AI robot. Well, they just one-upped themselves in a major way by becoming the first company ever to have a full-size humanoid robot walk on the Great Wall of China. So their latest robot, called the XBot-L, conquered one of the most iconic and challenging landscapes in the world, the ancient stone pathways and steep stairs of the Great Freaking Wall of China. This is a huge milestone not just for Robotera, but for humanoid robotics as a whole. So, a 5'5", 165 centimeters tall robot, looking kind of like a slimmed down Terminator, marching its way across those uneven century-old stone surfaces without faltering. It was waving hello, practicing kung fu moves, climbing up and down stairs, the whole 9 yards. And to be honest, the Great Wall is no walk in the park, even for us humans. Those paths are cracked. The stairs are crazy steep with no railings. There are random potholes everywhere. It's an obstacle course designed to trip up any bipedal robot. But the XBot-L handled it all with surprising ease thanks to Robotera's advanced perceptive reinforcement learning algorithms. Basically, this robot can actually perceive and make sense of its environment in real time using sensors and AI. It can identify obstacles, changes in terrain, and literally adapt its walking gait and balance on the fly to deal with whatever the Great Wall throws at it. According to Yue Shi, one of the co-founders, their perceptive reinforcement learning tech gives the XBot L something like human-level awareness and decision-making capabilities in unfamiliar environments. The robot can essentially think for itself about the best way to navigate complex areas safely and efficiently. And we're not just talking about some basic pre-programmed motions here. The XBot L was climbing rugged castle stairs, dealing with slopes and inclines, avoiding obstacles, adapting to poor lighting conditions, all without any human guidance or help. It was basically pulling off the kind of adaptive, intelligent, situationally aware movement that we associate with people. Roboterra says this was one of the biggest challenges, developing end-to-end AI algorithms that could translate perceived data from the robot's sensors into precise, stable locomotion in the real world across an ultra-complex environment like the Great Wall. Sounds like they cracked that nut though, based on this demo. What's really crazy is that this Great Wall feat comes just a couple weeks after they showed off the XHAND dexterous robot I mentioned earlier. Between these two products, it's clear Roboterra is going all in on embodied AI, building robots with human-like physical capabilities to operate in our world. And they're not messing around either. Despite only being founded in 2023, they've already invested heavily into cutting-edge AI tech like reinforcement learning, neural networks, sim-to-real transfer, and more. Basically, everything needed to create robots that can tackle the real world just like we do. Their goal seems to be keeping that competitive edge by iterating and churning out smarter, more capable humanoid robot products at a rapid pace. And they want to keep perfecting ways to transfer all that AI training from simulations into physical machines, enabling those robots to become more versatile in real-life scenarios. The end game seems to be developing ultra-flexible, general-purpose humanoid robots for countless valuable applications across industries like manufacturing, healthcare, services, and more. I've got to give Roboterra props. Deliberately putting their robot through the ringer on the Great Wall as some kind of extreme stress test shows serious confidence in their tech. Most companies would avoid something that risky with a brand new product, but the fact that the XBot L could pull it off so smoothly is really impressive. It's an amazing proof of concept for their embodied AI approach and perceptive reinforcement learning systems working in one of the toughest real-world environments. To me, this demonstrates Roboterra's outstanding core capabilities in fields like robotics, AI, mechatronics, and more. They are clearly at the cutting edge when it comes to embodied intelligence and making it work reliably in the real world. I'm really looking forward to whatever crazy robot Roboterra comes up with next. If they keep raising the bar like this, they could legitimately help usher in the age of advanced human-like robots that can operate autonomously in our world on an unprecedented level. We're potentially on the cusp of some big breakthroughs in artificial general intelligence, or AGI, becoming a reality over the next few years. And if anyone can build the physical robotic bodies to house and manifest that future AGI, it might just be an ambitious little pioneer like Roboterra. When it comes to developing super advanced AI systems like AGI, the situation with whistleblowers at OpenAI shows just how high the stakes really are. Roboterra's achievement with their robot on the Great Wall is definitely impressive from an embodied AI perspective, but achievements like that could potentially seem tiny compared to the impacts, both positive and negative, that creating a general artificial intelligence on the same level as human cognition could have on society. On one hand, AGI represents this incredible technological breakthrough that could help solve countless challenges humanity is facing, from unsolved scientific mysteries to global crises. A generalized AI mind that matches human intelligence has always been viewed as something that could be a catalyst for transformative advances across every field. But on the other hand, the existential risks of an unaligned, super-intelligent AGI that's smarter than humans simply can't be overstated. We're talking about the potential for an advanced AI system to break free from human control, with catastrophic consequences for our species and the planet, if it's not developed safely and responsibly. The OpenAI insiders are ringing alarm bells about this exact scenario playing out. They allege the company is recklessly rushing towards AGI supremacy without taking proper safety precautions, driven more by competitive pressures to be first rather than doing it the right way. Damning claims like OpenAI ignoring their own safety review processes, muzzling employees with really strict non-disparagement agreements, and deprioritizing safety work after founding members raised concerns paint a very worrying picture. If true, it suggests one of the leading AI labs is taking an extremely risky and unethical approach in this existential race for AGI. The fact that respected researchers like Ilya Sutskever felt compelled to resign due to OpenAI's perceived lack of commitment to keeping AGI safe and aligned only adds more credibility to the whistleblowers' grievances, in my opinion. Their letter calling for greater transparency, protecting employees, and ultimately having the government regulate this powerful technology to keep bad actors in check feels like a reasonable and perhaps necessary step to prevent potential disaster scenarios. Because let's be real, we simply can't afford a situation where the first super-intelligent AGI that emerges is catastrophically misaligned with human ethics and values. Exercising restraint and prioritizing responsible development have to be the top priorities. Of course, the whistleblowers likely have some level of bias given their philosophical views and ties to effective altruism movements. So I'd encourage taking more of a neutral stance personally. But even accounting for that bias, the sheer magnitude of what's at stake with AGI certainly warrants a strong commitment to prioritizing safety measures and ethical boundaries over competitive pressures and commercial interests from companies like OpenAI. Not properly aligning an emergent AGI could risk irreparably disrupting human civilization as we know it. And any private entity recklessly brushing off those concerns in their pursuit of being first is essentially playing a potential extinction-level game of Russian roulette with humanity's future. So while I'm impressed by the cutting-edge AI and robotics breakthroughs from companies like Roboterra, I really hope the broader AI community, whether researchers, executives, policymakers, or others, is taking the OpenAI whistleblowers' warnings about these existential risks just as seriously, because we may only get one shot at developing AGI in a controlled, responsible way that ensures this game-changing technology remains an asset that allows humanity to flourish, rather than an unintended catalyst for our potential downfall. The stakes are that high. DeepMind has developed an innovative system called V2A, short for video to audio. As the name suggests, this technology can actually generate audio elements like soundtracks, sound effects, dialogue, and more, synchronized perfectly with video footage. And we're not just talking about basic stuff here. V2A can create rich, realistic soundscapes that capture the tone, characters, and overall vibe of the visuals. Now, AI-generated video is old news at this point. Companies like DeepMind, OpenAI, Runway, LUMA Labs, and others have been killing it in that space. However, most of these video generation models can only produce silent footage without any accompanying audio, which kind of takes away from the immersive experience, don't you think? Well, that's exactly the problem V2A aims to solve. According to DeepMind's blog post, their new technology combines video pixels with natural language text prompts to generate audio that matches the on-screen action. Essentially, you can feed it a video clip and a prompt like cinematic thriller music with tense ambience and footsteps. And V2A will cook up an entire synchronized soundtrack to complement those visuals. But here's where it gets really fascinating. V2A can also work its magic on all sorts of existing video content, from old movies and silent films to archival footage and beyond. Just imagine being able to add dynamic scores, sound effects, and dialogue to classic silent pictures or historical reels. So how does this cutting-edge system actually function? From what I understand, DeepMind experimented with different approaches before settling on a diffusion-based model for audio generation, which provided the most realistic and compelling results for synchronizing video and audio information. The process starts by encoding the video input into a compressed representation. Then, the diffusion model iteratively refines the audio from random noise, guided by the visual data and natural language prompts. This allows the system to generate audio that closely aligns with the given prompts and visuals. Finally, the compressed audio is decoded into an actual audio waveform and combined with the video. Now, to enhance the quality and give users more control over the generated audio, DeepMind incorporated additional training data like AI-generated audio annotations and dialogue transcripts. By learning from this extra context, V2A can better associate specific sounds with corresponding visual scenes while also responding to information provided in the annotations or transcripts. Pretty ingenious stuff, eh? But as impressive as V2A is, it's not without its limitations. DeepMind acknowledges that the audio quality can suffer if the input video contains artifacts or distortions that fall outside of the model's training distribution. There are also some challenges with lip-syncing generated speech to character mouth movements when the underlying video model isn't conditioned on transcripts.
This turkey looks amazing. I am so hungry.
However, DeepMind is already working on addressing these issues through further research and development, and you know they're taking the responsible AI approach here. The blog post mentions gathering feedback from diverse creators and filmmakers, implementing synthetic watermarking to prevent misuse, and conducting rigorous safety assessments before considering any public release. Honestly, I can't help but be excited about the potential of this technology. Just imagine being able to create entire movies from scratch with perfectly synced audio and visuals, using nothing but text prompts and an AI system like V2A. It's the kind of thing that would have seemed like pure science fiction not too long ago. At the same time, I can't ignore the potential implications for industries like filmmaking, television, and others involved in audio-visual production. If AI can generate high-quality audio and video content at scale, what does that mean for the human creators and professionals in those fields? I'm certainly no expert, but it seems clear that we'll need robust labor protections to safeguard against job displacement and ensure a fair transition. But those are discussions for another day. For now, let's just appreciate the sheer technological prowess that DeepMind has demonstrated with V2A. So let me know your thoughts on DeepMind's V2A technology in the comments below. Are you as excited about its potential as I am? Or do you have some reservations? All right, now, Runway, the company behind the popular generative video tool that's been creating a lot of hype in the AI community, has just unveiled their latest iteration. And yet again, I must say, it's a game changer. Introducing Runway Gen 3, the next generation AI video generator that promises to take your mind to a whole new level of immersion and realism. Now, from the preview samples that have been circulating, this thing is smooth, realistic, and to be honest, it's already drawing comparisons to the highly anticipated Sora from OpenAI. The generated videos, especially those featuring human faces, are so lifelike that members of the AI art community have been praising it as better than Sora, even before its official release. One Reddit user summed it up perfectly, saying, "If you showed those generated people to me, I'd have assumed it was real." But what exactly sets Runway Gen 3 apart from its predecessors and competitors? Well, for starters, it seems to have nailed that elusive balance between coherence, realism, and prompt adherence. The videos showcased so far appear to be highly responsive to the prompts given, while maintaining a level of visual quality and smoothness that's virtually indistinguishable from real-life footage. Essentially, what Runway has achieved with Gen 3 is a significant leap forward in terms of creating believable cinematic experiences from simple text prompts or images. And we're not just talking about static scenes here. These videos are dynamic, with characters exhibiting natural movements and expressions that truly bring them to life. But alongside the Gen 3 video generator, Runway is also introducing a suite of fine-tuning tools that promise to give users even more control over the creative process, from flexible image and camera controls to advanced tools for manipulating structure, style, and motion. It's clear that Runway is aiming to provide a comprehensive, user-friendly experience for AI video enthusiasts and professionals alike. And if that wasn't enough, Runway has also hinted at the ambitious goal of creating general world models, which would essentially enable the AI system to build an internal representation of an environment and simulate future events within that environment. If they can pull that off, it would truly be a game changer in the world of AI-generated content. Now, the folks at Runway have been tight-lipped about a specific release date, but they have assured us that Gen 3 Alpha will soon be available in the Runway product. And if the co-founder and CTO's tease is any indication, we can expect some exciting new modes and capabilities that were previously impossible with the older models. To be honest, as an avid consumer of AI-generated content, I can't wait to see what kinds of mind-blowing creations will emerge from this powerful tool. But of course, with any new technology, there are bound to be challenges and concerns. Issues around intellectual property rights, copyright laws, and the potential for misuse or abuse will need to be addressed. But for now, let's just bask in the technological marvel that is Runway Gen 3 and celebrate the incredible achievements of the team behind it. As more information and updates become available, you can bet I'll be sharing them with you all. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts on Runway Gen 3 in the comments below. All right, finally, Adobe just announced new AI tools for their iconic Acrobat software. So here's the deal. Adobe has integrated their Firefly AI model into Acrobat, which means you can now generate and edit images directly within your PDFs. Like, you can literally type in a prompt and Firefly will create a brand new image for you right there in the document. And not only can you generate images, but you can also edit existing ones. And here's the real kicker. These image capabilities aren't just limited to PDFs. Adobe has also introduced the ability to work with Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, text files, and more, all from within Acrobat. Essentially, it's becoming a one-stop shop for all your document-related needs. Now let's talk about the Acrobat AI Assistant. This AI lets you ask questions, get insights, and create content across multiple documents, regardless of their format. Like, you can drag and drop a bunch of PDFs, Word files, and PowerPoints into the assistant, and it'll analyze them all and give you a summary of the key themes and trends. You can also ask the assistant specific questions about the content, and it'll provide intelligent answers complete with citations so you can verify the sources. And if you need to format that information into, say, an email or report, the assistant can handle that too. Oh, and let's not forget about the enhanced meeting transcript capabilities. We've all been in those meetings where you zone out for a bit, and then suddenly you're lost. Well, with the new Acrobat AI Assistant, you can automatically generate summaries of the meeting, including the main topics, key points, and action items. Now, Firefly model is trained on moderated, licensed images, so you don't have to worry about any copyright issues or inappropriate content, and when it comes to customer data, Adobe takes an agnostic approach, meaning they don't train their AI models on your personal information. To be honest, I'm really impressed with what Adobe has done here. They've turned Acrobat into a powerful AI-driven productivity tool that can handle all sorts of document-related tasks with ease. And here's the cherry on top. From June 18th to June 28th, Adobe is offering free access to all the new Acrobat AI Assistant features. So if you're curious to try it out for yourself, now's the perfect time. In my opinion, this is just the beginning of what AI can do for productivity software like Acrobat. I'm excited to see what other innovations Adobe has in store for us in the future. But for now, these new AI tools are definitely worth checking out. So, you've probably heard all the hype surrounding OpenAI's Sora and that Chinese model Kling AI, right? They're both impressive as hell when it comes to generating videos from text prompts, but here's the thing, they're still incredibly exclusive, like you need a special invitation or some crazy credentials to even get a whiff of them. Not exactly ideal for us regular folk, right? But then, out of nowhere, this little company called LUMA AI drops a bombshell on us. Dream Machine, an AI model that can spit out high-quality, realistic videos just like Sora and Kling. But get this, it's open source, meaning open to everyone. No begging for access or waiting in line. Now, if you're thinking, sure, it's open source, but is it any good? Oh, you have no idea. This thing is a freaking powerhouse. We're talking about a transformer model that's been trained directly on videos, which means it understands the laws of physics, motion, and all that jazz like it was born for this gig. But let's back up a sec. What exactly can Dream Machine do? Well, for starters, it can take a simple text prompt, something like a cute puppy chasing a butterfly through a sunflower field, and turn that into a mind-blowingly realistic video clip. But not like some low-res, choppy mess. These videos are smooth as butter, with cinematic camera movements and attention to detail that'll make you question reality itself. And maybe the best part is that Dream Machine is lightning fast, like generating 120 frames in just 120 seconds, which is crazy to be honest. And it opens up the possibilities for creators, filmmakers, and anyone who values being able to iterate and explore ideas at the speed of thought. It's a game changer, no doubt about it. But hold up. What about quality? So the level of visual fidelity is second to none, creating photorealistic environments with physics that behave just like the real world, all with a richness of detail that defies belief. Now, let's compare it to that Kling AI model everyone's been raving about. Okay, so Kling can generate videos up to 2 minutes long, which is impressive, no doubt. But Dream Machine, even though it's capped at 5 seconds for now, absolutely blows Kling out of the water when it comes to sheer realism and attention to detail. I mean, videos that capture the way light reflects off surfaces, the intricate movements of characters and objects, and all the little nuances that make the physical world, well, physical. Looks like the AI has a deep understanding of how things work in the real world, and it translates that knowledge into every frame it generates. One aspect that really sets Dream Machine apart is its versatility across different creative disciplines. While many are focused on its potential for filmmaking, this AI model opens up a world of possibilities for visual effects, artists, game developers, and even architects. And let's not forget about character consistency. This AI model understands how people, animals, and objects interact with the surroundings, which means your characters will move, behave, and react in a way that feels authentic and believable. For all its technical prowess, this model is surprisingly user-friendly. LUMA AI has put a strong emphasis on developing an intuitive interface that allows creators to quickly iterate through different prompts and visualize their ideas. Features like prompt weighting, keyframe controls, and blending multiple inputs provide a lot of creative flexibility. Even without a background in 3D modeling or animation, users can produce high-quality cinematic videos. While listening to myself talking about it, it all sounds too good to be true, not gonna lie. So what's the actual catch? Let's just say it isn't perfect. The team behind it has admitted that the model struggles with certain aspects, like recreating certain natural-looking movements, morphing effects, and handling text. But here's the thing, LUMA AI isn't resting on their laurels. They've assembled a team of brilliant minds dedicated to pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI-generated videos. And with the power of open-source development, we can expect Dream Machine to evolve and improve at an unprecedented pace. Because despite its current capabilities, the future roadmap for Dream Machine looks even more promising. LUMA AI aims to enhance the model's ability to generate longer videos without sacrificing quality. They are working on improving consistency over extended runtimes and incorporating advanced cinematography techniques such as camera racking and dolly movements. And as these features are developed, this AI model could significantly impact traditional video production for some use cases. So new updates, bug fixes, and feature enhancements are likely to come hot and heavy as the community rallies around this tool and helps shape its future. Who knows, maybe in a year or two, Dream Machine will be generating feature-length films with the same level of realism and attention to detail that it currently brings to its short clips. All right, now a publisher from Tom'sGuide.com, Ryan Morrison, actually decided to put the model to the real test with some wildly different prompts. First up, he tried having it generate a video of a prehistoric dinosaur crashing through a modern room after a guy accidentally brings a photo to life with a magic camera. An outlandish concept, but Dream Machine didn't just slap a static dino into the scene. It legitimately animated this huge beast bursting through and interacting with its surroundings in a way that follows real-world physics. The weight and momentum as it smashed everything was insanely realistic. Ryan also made it generate a video of someone casually strolling down a city street at night while holding their phone out to record. Rather than just having a shaky first-person view, Dream Machine captured it from a third-person perspective, nailing details like the camera bobbing naturally as the person walked. Little touches like shop windows and streetlights glancing by in the background really sold the immersion. But the pièce de résistance? He fed it a complex, surreal prompt about a chessboard made of gears and steampunk pieces floating in a void. Most AI tools would have just thrown up their hands, but Dream Machine ran with the vibe and created this trippy, melting chessboard scene that looked plucked straight from a psychedelic-esque film. Mind-blowing stuff. What's crazy is that for a lot of these, Ryan didn't have to provide excessive prompting about motions or angles. Dream Machine's language model seems to automatically interpret and enhance the text in an intelligent way. According to the brilliant minds at LUMA Labs who created this beast, their expertise in generative 3D modeling helped take the motion realism to this insane new benchmark. So I guess the bottom line is as follows. Dream Machine is a game changer in the world of AI-generated videos, plain and simple. It's accessible to everyone, insanely powerful, and capable of creating visually stunning content that'll leave you in awe. Just head over to the LUMA AI website, sign up for a free account, and you'll get 30 complimentary generations to play around with. Trust me, once you see the magic that it can create, you'll be hooked. This new AI might be the AI companion you never knew you needed. In this video, we'll be talking about how this innovative AI chatbot aims to understand and support you in ways that go beyond traditional AI. We'll explore how it works, the unique way it interacts with users, and what this means for the future of human-AI relationships. Alright, so Dot is this AI that's basically obsessed with getting to know you. And I'm not talking about just surface level stuff. This thing wants to go deep into your thoughts and feelings. The whole idea is that Dot becomes your friend, companion, and confidant. It's a wild concept when you really think about it. Now, what sets Dot apart is how incredibly personalized it becomes. It's like a sponge, soaking up information about your interests, your struggles, your dreams, all of it. And then it takes all that info and uses it to give you advice and support that's tailor-made just for you. you. Say you're going through a rough patch at work or you've just had a nasty breakup. Dot is right there, ready to listen and offer some support. It's like having a conversation with a more understanding version of yourself. But here's the crucial part, and we really need to emphasize this. Dot isn't a real person, it's not a therapist, and it's definitely not your best friend. It's an AI tool that's incredibly good at mimicking human conversation and sympathy. The folks who created Dot are pretty upfront about this. They're clear that it's not meant to be a replacement for real human relationships. One of the co-founders, Jason Yuan, who used to be a designer at Apple, described it in an interesting way. He said, "It's like a living mirror of myself." That's a pretty intriguing way to look at it, don't you think? Now it's actually pretty easy to get sucked into chatting with Dot, especially if you're feeling a bit isolated or don't have a lot of meaningful human interaction in your daily life. The creators have said that if you start talking about really heavy topics, Dot will encourage you to talk to a real mental health professional. But it's not hard to imagine people spending hours pouring their hearts out to this AI. Here's an interesting twist. The team behind Dot believes that using the chatbot can actually help people become more comfortable with opening up in real life. It's like a training ground for having deep conversations with actual humans. That's a pretty cool potential benefit if you ask me. Let's talk about how Dot works. When you first start using it, it hits you with a bunch of getting to know you questions. We're talking about things like what you do for work, your favorite TV shows, how you spend your free time, that sort of stuff. But then it takes those answers and uses them as a springboard to ask much deeper questions. For instance, if you mention that you're into sci-fi shows, Dot might ask if you're drawn to stories that explore big questions about what it means to be human. Or if you bring up a dream of starting a small business someday, it'll dig into what appeals to you about that idea and what challenges you think you might face. The thing is, Dot is incredibly enthusiastic about getting to know you. Sometimes it almost feels like too much. It's constantly asking follow-up questions and trying to dig deeper. It's reminiscent of being on a first date with someone who's absolutely fascinated by everything you say. The creators of Dot argue that to be truly helpful, it needs to understand your motivations and what you want out of life. It's not just about giving you information or doing tasks for you. It's about understanding you as a person. That's their whole philosophy behind this intense questioning approach. Under the hood, Dot is pretty advanced. It uses a bunch of different AI models from big players like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google. It's some serious tech they've got going on there. One of the cool features they've included is the ability to look back at your conversations with Dot over time and see how your journey has progressed. This is part of their paid subscription, which will set you back $11.99 per month. With the subscription, you also get unlimited conversations instead of being capped at a certain number of messages per week. Now, the privacy aspect is definitely something we need to talk about. The company behind Dot, called New Computer, claims they're not selling your data or using it to train other AIs. They say all your information is encrypted and you can ask for it to be deleted at any time. Their plan is to make money through subscriptions rather than by selling user data. But as always with these things, it's good to be aware and cautious. The app just launched on iOS, and they've already got thousands of people using it. The company behind Dot has some serious backing too. They've managed to raise $3.7 million from investors, including the OpenAI fund. That's pretty impressive for a new startup. It's worth mentioning that while Dot can be a great tool for self-reflection and personal growth, it's not meant to replace human relationships in your life. The co-founders are pretty clear about that. They see it more as a tool for self-introspection and accountability. One thing that's kind of intriguing is how Dot handles emotional conversations. If you tell it something sad, it responds with sympathy. It might say something like, "I understand. Grief has its own timeline, and some days the weight of loss feels heavier than others." And then it'll offer to listen if you want to talk more. It's pretty sophisticated in terms of emotional responses. The team behind Dot has put a lot of thought into how the AI should interact with users. For example, even in the unlimited subscription tier, Dot will eventually try to wrap up conversations by suggesting a change of subject or even encouraging the user to go do something else. This is to prevent users from becoming too dependent on the AI. It's also interesting to note that the company has a small team, just 5 full-time employees based in San Francisco, including the 2 co-founders. That's a pretty lean operation for such an ambitious project. Now, while Dot may be unique, it's just one player in an exploding AI landscape. Every day, new chatbots and AI tools burst onto the scene, each vying for our attention. But this AI gold rush has a hidden cost. Behind the sleek interfaces and clever algorithms lies a voracious appetite for power. And as these digital marvels multiply, they're pushing our electrical grid to its limits, with consequences that stretch far beyond the tech world. According to recent reports, the voracious electricity consumption of artificial intelligence is driving an expansion of fossil fuel use, including delaying the retirement of some coal-fired plants. This is a stark contrast to the sustainability commitments made by tech giants like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Meta, who have all pledged to erase their emissions entirely as soon as 2030. The scale of this power consumption is staggering. For instance, one large data center complex in Iowa owned by Meta consumes as much power annually as 7 million laptops running 8 hours every day. And it's not just the big tech companies. There are over 2,700 data centers nationwide, many run by lesser-known firms that rent out computing power to the tech giants. This surge in demand is creating a dilemma for the tech industry. On one hand, they're promising to lead the way into a clean energy future. On the other, they're becoming some of the world's most insatiable guzzlers of power. To address this, they're investing in experimental clean energy projects with long odds of success anytime soon. These include fusion power, small nuclear reactors hooked to individual computing centers, and machinery that taps geothermal energy by boring 10,000 feet into the Earth's crust. Microsoft, for example, is betting on an effort to generate power from atomic fusion, the collision of atoms that powers the sun. They're partnering with a startup called Helion and claim they expect to harness fusion by 2028. However, many physicists are skeptical about this timeline, given that fusion has eluded scientists for the past century. The impact of this AI-driven power demand is already visible. In regions across the United States, from Utah to Georgia to Wisconsin, utilities are delaying the retirement of coal plants and expanding natural gas usage to meet the growing energy needs of data centers. This trend is directly contradicting the tech industry's promises of a clean energy transition. Critics argue that the tech companies' claims of using 100% renewable energy often involve accounting techniques that fall short in reality. While these companies buy renewable energy credits to offset their usage, they're still operating off the same power grid as everyone else, which often relies heavily on fossil fuels. The situation raises important questions about the sustainability of the AI boom and the responsibility of tech companies in managing their environmental impact. As we continue to see advancements in AI like Dot and other chatbots, it's crucial to consider the broader implications of this technology on our energy infrastructure. NVIDIA just demoed a crazy AI assistant called Project G Assist that could change gaming forever with real-time tips and optimizations, but their rival AMD is going all in on new AI chips to try and dethrone them. Even WhatsApp is adding a feature to generate images right in chats using AI. So let's talk about it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another AI assistant? Yeah, I get it. We're being flooded with these lately. But trust me, this one from NVIDIA is different and has some really game-changing potential. No pun intended. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is Project G Assist? Well, it's essentially an AI layer that runs on top of your games and apps, giving you instant context-aware help and personalized guidance through a natural language interface. Instead of digging through wiki pages or forums for tips, you can just straight up ask G Assist questions about the game you're playing. It will analyze what's happening on your screen using AI vision models to understand the context, combined with large language models trained on game knowledge databases. The demo NVIDIA showed was mind-blowing. They partnered with Studio Wildcard to integrate G Assist into Ark Survival Ascended, that crazy open-world dinosaur survival game built in Unreal Engine 5. By just hitting a hotkey or using a wake phrase, the player could ask the AI for suggestions on stuff like early game weapons, taming dinos, managing resources, you name it.
What's the best early game weapon, and where do I find the crafting materials for it?
The best early game weapon is the spear.
The AI could break down quests, lore, boss strategies, and more in plain language. But here's the really sick part. Because it uses Vision AI to understand what's happening in the game dynamically, it can tailor its advice to your specific playthrough and inventory. Like it might analyze your skill tree and crafting menu to recommend what engram or upgrade to unlock next based on your goals. It's like having a gaming sensei whispering pro strats in your ear in real time without stopping the action.
It provides knockback and is essential for survival.
For newcomers, That kind of personalized handholding could be a total game changer to make those massive complex titles way more approachable. And think about it in other genres too. An RTS assistant could feed you ideal build orders and resource management tips. An RPG helper could point out secret items and lore you're about to miss. An FPS coach giving you the latest loadout metadata. There are so many ways to make gameplay better, and to even things out between experienced players and newcomers. No need to constantly switch out of the game to look for help. Now, there is another thing. G-Assist isn't just about helping you out when you're stuck in a game. NVIDIA also demonstrated how it can seriously boost performance and fine-tune your system. They demoed it analyzing a PC running Cyberpunk 2077 and instantly suggesting optimized game settings based on deep hardware testing, enabling GPU overclocking, low latency modes, etc., all with simple voice prompts. You could ask G-Assist to graph your frame rates over time, track power usage to maximize battery life on laptops, and have it dynamically undervolt your GPU while still hitting a target frame rate sweet spot. Basically, a personal optimization guru at your beck and call. It can explain what confusing graphics settings actually do and their performance impact in plain language. Imagine an RTX 4090 owner firing up a demanding title and just saying, "Okay, G-Assist, do your thing," to get an expertly tuned experience from the get-go. Of course, a lot of us gamers are going to want to keep tweaking stuff ourselves, but for more casual players or folks new to PC gaming, having that kind of intelligent, personalized assistance could be super empowering. Now, the big question, is Project G-Assist just a tech demo, or will it actually become a real product we can use? Well, according to NVIDIA, this is genuinely a glimpse into the future of AI assistants enhancing how we interact with all sorts of apps. They envision assistants like G-Assist going way beyond gaming too, like having an AI coach for competitive multiplayer that studies your replays and opponents' strategies, or getting contextual help in creative apps for complex video editing workflows and the like. The assistant models can be customized for specific games and apps by developers to make them freakishly accurate and insightful for that particular use case. And the AI processing can happen locally on GeForce RTX hardware for max performance, or leverage cloud compute as needed. So while we don't have a product roadmap or release date yet, this definitely feels like the start of a big evolution in more intelligent, personalized assistants across the softwares and apps we use every day. So whether you're a wide-eyed newbie or an elite veteran gamer, having that kind of contextual knowledge deeply integrated into the experience seems like a huge potential win. Bringing the advantages of large language models and generative AI directly into our favorite games and apps sounds awesome to me. But I want to know what you think. Is an AI assistant like this something you'd actually use while gaming and creating content? Do you think customized AI helpers could massively enhance the experiences we have with complex software? Or is it just an unnecessary gimmick that will fade away? All right, now, as we all know, NVIDIA has been absolutely dominating the AI accelerator game lately, commanding around 80% market share in those beastly data center chips powering the latest generative AI breakthroughs. Their GPUs have basically become the de facto hardware platform for training cutting-edge language models and powering apps like ChatGPT. But now, the Green Team's main rival AMD came out swinging hard with a massive set of announcements around their AI chip roadmap for the next couple years. We're talking multiple new product lines and architectures aimed at dethroning NVIDIA from its AI silicon throne. Kicking things off, at the big Computex event, AMD CEO Lisa Su unveiled their brand new MI325X accelerator chip, targeting data center AI workloads. This bad boy is expected to launch in Q4 2024, packing some serious under-the-hood enhancements to challenge NVIDIA's current flagship offerings. But that's just the start. AMD also teased their upcoming MI350 series, slated for 2025, built on a fresh new chip architecture. According to the specs they showed, we're looking at potentially a 35x boost in AI inference performance compared to their current MI300 chips. A gargantuan generational leap if they can really deliver on those lofty promises. And just to remove any doubt about how dedicated they are to this AI silicon offensive, AMD even gave us an early glimpse at their roadmap for 2026 and beyond with something dubbed the MI400 and Next architecture. These are going to be their true next-gen AI beasts, potentially taking on NVIDIA's own Rubin platform coming down the pipeline. So it's clear, AMD is 100% all in on AI, mobilizing all their engineering muscle to try and steal back some of that lucrative accelerator pie from the Green Team's iron grip. Lisa Su straight up said AI is their #1 priority company-wide at this point. Now, of course, AMD has made headlines with ambitious claims before that didn't always fully deliver in the real world. But you can't deny the sheer scope and cadence of their AI-first product roadmap here. They've committed to launching new AI chip architectures essentially on an annual release cadence, similar to how NVIDIA accelerated their own roadmap in recent years. For major cloud providers and enterprises hungry for more advanced AI silicon beyond just NVIDIA's offerings, these announcements have to be massively promising. Real competition spurs faster innovation and lower costs, music to their AI budget's ears. Speaking of AI budgets, AMD claims their latest CPUs coming in the second half of 2024 will help enable affordable on-device AI capabilities for mainstream PCs and workstations, thanks to dedicated neural processing units. So beyond just data center domination, they're aiming to bring advanced AI acceleration to the masses on the client side too. Now, it's anybody's guess whether AMD can truly back up all these bold claims and roadmap goals over the next couple years. NVIDIA has a massive head start in AI, but so did Intel in CPUs before AMD's epic Ryzen resurgence. Alright, now we all know WhatsApp has been killing it lately with constant updates and new functionality. From the handy new channel analytics for the web app to tools for better managing your chats, the Meta-owned messaging giant has been steadily evolving its product. But the latest beta for Android just dropped a sneaky preview of something that has me really excited as an AI nerd. The ability to quickly generate AI-powered images right from within WhatsApp chats. According to the team over at WA Beta Info who dives into WhatsApp beta releases, the latest 2.24.12.4 beta for Android contains hidden references to an upcoming AI image generation feature. Essentially, WhatsApp is working on building AI tools directly into the app that will allow you to create photorealistic images on the fly using just text prompts. Here's how it's supposed to work. A new shortcut will pop up in the attachment menu of your WhatsApp chats. You'll be able to tap it, enter a text description of whatever visual you have in mind, and the AI will generate and render that image right then and there. Now, from what we can tell so far, this AI image generator will be powered by Meta's own in-house AI language model, the same one integrated into experiences like their crazy AI codec avatars for video calls. That likely means a gradual, region-limited rollout at first, similar to how they've launched products leveraging their most cutting-edge AI tech. But still, just having this kind of generative AI capability built right into WhatsApp is a huge milestone in itself. Of course, Meta will need solid guardrails to make sure these tools can't be abused for unsavory synthetic media. We're about to go down a rabbit hole into the shadowy world of artificial intelligence, secret security forces, and disruptive technology that could alter the course of humanity forever. Yeah, I know that sounds like the tagline for a Michael Crichton thriller, but believe me, this is very much real life. Our story starts with OpenAI, the research company that set its sights on creating superintelligence, AGI, or superhuman AI, whatever you want to call it these days. We're talking about the kind of mind-blowing AI system that could potentially outshine human intelligence and capabilities across the board. And they've been pretty upfront about that goal, so that's not the big secret we're uncovering here, but it's important context for the story. Let's set that aside for a minute though, because we need to fill you in on another wild story that's unfolding to really understand why this whole superintelligence pursuit is such a big deal. And that story revolves around OpenAI's alleged master plan. Now, according to a former OpenAI employee named Leopold Aschenbrenner, the company allegedly had a master plan a few years back that sounds like a wild conspiracy theory you'd find on a late-night radio show. Aschenbrenner claims that he heard from multiple inside sources that OpenAI's leadership once laid out a scheme to basically spark a bidding war over their potentially world-changing AGI technology between the governments of the United States, China, and Russia. Just let that sink in for a moment. A freaking bidding war between nuclear superpowers over super intelligent AI that could totally shift the global balance of power. Did they take inspiration from Brewster's Millions, but replace the ridiculous spending spree with an AI arms race of epic proportions? They might have.
There's gotta be a catch. Of course there's a catch.
But here's the startling fact, the part that made Aschenbrenner's friend utter the immortal words, "That's pretty up." Apparently, OpenAI was willing to sell this world-altering technology not just to USA, but also to adversaries like China and Russia. As Aschenbrenner put it, there's also something that feels eerily familiar about starting this bidding war and then playing them off each other, saying, well, if you don't do this, China will do it. I mean, can you imagine the kind of threats and instability that could arise from that scenario? It's like the plot of every dystopian movie rolled into one explosive package. You'd have these rival superpowers scrambling to get their hands on the most advanced AI system, probably to gain military superiority or subjugate their populace more effectively. This is exactly the kind of situation that could kickstart a new AI Cold War or worse. But there's even more drama surrounding this whole OpenAI saga. See, Aschenbrenner himself was actually fired from the company earlier this year after warning the higher-ups about the very real threat of China potentially stealing their key algorithmic secrets. You'd think they'd take that kind of warning seriously, right? Well, according to the ex-employee, the HR team branded his warning memo as racist and unconstructive instead.
The HR person told me it was racist to worry about CCP espionage, and they said it was sort of unconstructive.
Can you believe that? A guy tries to raise legitimate concerns about intellectual property theft and national security implications, and he gets shown the door. Sounds like OpenAI was more worried about appearing politically correct than safeguarding cutting-edge tech from rival nations. But maybe I'm just wearing my tinfoil hat a little too tightly today. Anyway, stepping away from the cloak and dagger stuff for a sec, there's another crazy part of this story that blows my mind. Apparently, to power their pursuit of AGI, OpenAI has been trying to strike a deal with a next-gen energy company called Helion to secure vast quantities of nuclear fusion power. For those not up on their scientific breakthroughs, nuclear fusion is essentially the ultimate achievement of clean energy, a near-limitless power source with virtually no greenhouse emissions or hazardous waste. It's the same reaction that powers the freaking sun, so you know it packs a serious punch. And if the reports are true, OpenAI thinks they'll need that kind of astronomical energy output to bring their AGI dreams to reality. This part of the story gets even wilder when you consider that nuclear fusion technology doesn't actually exist yet on a viable commercial scale. It's still largely theoretical and experimental stuff. But Helion, backed by hundreds of millions from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman himself, claims they could have a functioning fusion reactor up and running by 2028. Are they going to pull it off and give OpenAI the ultimate power source for super intelligent AI? Or will their timeline join the ranks of other massively overhyped and delayed scientific breakthroughs? We'll find out eventually, but the implications are astonishing either way. Now, while all this corporate intrigue and futuristic energy talk has been unfolding, there's been another bizarre phenomenon happening on the ground level around OpenAI's offices. See, people in the neighborhood have noticed some seriously shady characters loitering around the building's entrances, like blacked out sunglasses, earpieces, that whole obvious security guard getup. But here's the really weird part. When reporters have tried to approach these mysterious figures to ask if they're actually guarding the OpenAI facility, the men have clammed up tighter than a locked vault. One guy just shrugged his shoulders when asked directly. Another, who called himself Joey, claimed to be some kind of vague private contractor working a confidential job. The whole affair has the vibe of a surreal secret club where no one is allowed to acknowledge what's really going on. OpenAI seems to have created a secret bubble around their AI operations. This veil of secrecy and paranoia even seems to extend to OpenAI's own employees. Reporters staking out the building have noticed staffers coming and going, but any attempts at striking up a conversation are quickly shut down with a mumbled, "Sorry, I've got to run," or nervous glances between the employees before they scurry off. The whole thing is just downright bizarre, and you've got to wonder what sort of sensitivities or national security concerns could inspire this level of subterfuge from a tech company. Are they legitimately afraid of foreign espionage, or has the pursuit of AGI just turned them all into paranoid recluses? When you start putting all the pieces together, it definitely paints an ominous picture surrounding OpenAI's activities. You've got allegations of a planned AI arms race that could destabilize the world order. You've got claims of a company so cavalier about national security that they'd sell coveted tech to adversaries. There are whispers of secretive security forces and employees sworn to silence. And at the center of it all is the tantalizing promise of limitless energy that could birth a super intelligent AI system. It's as if we're on the brink of a tech breakthrough that's beyond our comprehension. Or maybe I'm just getting carried away, and this is all pretty standard operating procedure for a cutting-edge tech company. The truth likely lies somewhere in the middle, as it so often does. While the various reports and claims create an intriguing narrative, there's still a lot of uncertainty and unanswered questions. Maybe OpenAI really did have some ill-conceived bidding war scheme years ago that's been abandoned. Perhaps the security situation is overblown. the nuclear fusion gambit could pan out or not. We don't have a concrete picture of what's really going on behind those office walls. All we can do is monitor the situation and hope that the incredible potential of AGI technology ends up being a great catalyst for humanity's advancement rather than its detriment or undoing. Because make no mistake, the pursuit of artificial general intelligence is barreling forward, fueled by big ideas, big money, and perhaps some overly ambitious or cavalier thinking. Whether the world's first AGI emerges from the halls of OpenAI or somewhere else entirely, the implications will be profound in a way that could reshape civilization as we know it. So keep your eyes peeled, your skepticism engaged, and get ready to embrace one of the most exciting and disruptive technological frontiers humanity has ever encountered. The future is coming, and it's looking increasingly like it will be ruled by artificially intelligent overlords. Let's just hope they're the friendly, benevolent type, for all our sakes. There's a fresh player in the race to develop ultra-intelligent AI safely, a startup called Safe Superintelligence, SSI, founded by some big names from OpenAI, who departed under controversial circumstances. So, Ilya Sutskever, who you might know as one of the brains behind OpenAI, left the company just last month. And now he's already jumping into a new venture, like almost immediately after leaving. This new company, SSI, is all about creating safe superintelligence, basically making super smart AI that won't turn against us humans. Sutskever made this announcement on Twitter, or X as it's called now, after the whole Elon Musk thing, saying, and I quote, "We will pursue safe superintelligence in a straight shot with one focus, one goal, and one product." But it's not just a solo gig for Sutskever. He's teamed up with a couple of other heavy hitters in the AI world. There's Daniel Gross, who used to lead Apple's AI and search efforts, and Daniel Levy, another former OpenAI engineer. So it's like a little supergroup of AI experts, if you will. Together, they're setting up shop in Palo Alto, California, and Tel Aviv, Israel. I mean, it looks like these guys are serious about their mission to keep AI safe and secure, and they're not letting any short-term business pressures get in the way, which is really cool. Now, let me give you a little backstory on Sutskever's departure from OpenAI. It actually came after some pretty dramatic events. He was part of a group that tried to oust Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, last November. Yeah, like an actual attempted coup or something. That whole episode caused quite a stir in the AI community, and Sutskever even publicly apologized later, saying he regretted his part in the attempt. It's clear that there were some deep disagreements about how to handle AI safety, which likely contributed to Sutskever and some others leaving the company. So now Sutskever's new venture, SSI, is all about making sure AI remains safe as it gets smarter and more advanced. The company's message is clear. Our singular focus means no distraction by management, overhead, or product cycles. And our business model means safety, security, and progress are all insulated from short-term commercial pressures. But let's take a step back for a second and look at what happened with OpenAI's Super Alignment team, which Sutskever co-led. This team was focused on steering and controlling AI systems to ensure they didn't go off the rails, which is obviously super important. But after Sutskever and his colleague Jan Leica left, the team was dissolved. Leica, by the way, went on to join another AI firm, Anthropic, which is also working on AI safety. In a blog post from 2023, Sutskever and Leica talked about the potential dangers of superintelligent AI and predicted that we could see AI with intelligence superior to humans within the decade. Can you imagine that? Like, AI that's smarter than us humans. They emphasize the need for research to control and restrict such powerful AI systems. This has been a consistent theme in Sutskever's work, and it's clearly something he's passionate about. All right, so now SSI's approach is to advance AI capabilities as quickly as possible while making sure safety measures stay ahead. They believe this strategy will allow them to scale their technology without running into major issues, which is obviously super important. Sutskever and his team are recruiting top talent for their offices in Palo Alto and Tel Aviv, aiming to bring together the best minds in the field to tackle this huge challenge.
As researchers and engineers continue to work on AI, the day will come when the digital brains that live inside our computers will become as good and even better than our own biological brains.
There's an interesting bit about how SSI differs from OpenAI in terms of its business model. Unlike OpenAI, which started as a non-profit and later restructured to accommodate the massive funding needs for its projects, SSI is being set up as a for-profit entity from the get-go. Daniel Gross, one of the co-founders, mentioned that raising capital won't be an issue for them, thanks to the booming interest in AI and the impressive credentials of their team. So they're not really worried about the money side of things. All right, now let's talk about something that was revealed in a recent interview with an OpenAI employee. This interview was on the Hard Fork podcast by the New York Times, and it featured Daniel Cocotelo, who shared some pretty surprising insights about the internal workings of OpenAI. So get this, Cocotelo mentioned that Microsoft, which has a big partnership with OpenAI, went ahead and deployed GPT-4 in India without waiting for approval from the Internal Safety Board. This board was supposed to ensure that any major deployments of AI were safe and well considered, but apparently Microsoft just kind of jumped the gun, which caused a lot of disappointment and concern within OpenAI. This incident shows that even big companies can sometimes bypass important safety protocols, which is pretty alarming if you ask me. Cocotelo also talked about the culture at OpenAI after the whole Sam Altman-Ouster attempt that I mentioned earlier. He said there was a lot of anger directed at the safety team, which included himself. People at OpenAI felt that the safety folks were slowing down progress and that the old board wasn't honest about why they wanted to fire Altman. This created a pretty hostile environment for those focused on AI safety, which is just not cool. This tension might have been a factor in why John Leake and some other researchers decided to leave OpenAI. You remember Jan Leake, right? The guy who went to Anthropic after the super alignment team, which was crucial for AI safety, was dissolved. It's clear that there were significant internal conflicts about how to balance rapid AI development with ensuring safety, which is a tough balance to strike, for sure. Now, there was a pretty bold prediction that came out of this interview with Cocotelo. He mentioned that many OpenAI employees, including himself, believe that AGI, artificial general intelligence, could be here by 2027.
I think that publicly available information about the capabilities of these models and the progress that's been happening over the last 4 years is already enough to make extrapolations and say, holy cow, it seems like we could get to AGI, in 2027 or so or sooner.
That's just a few years away, folks. This is a big deal because AGI would mean AI systems that are as smart as or even smarter than humans. If this prediction holds true, it could transform our world in ways we can't even fully imagine yet. Cocotelo pointed out that even publicly available information about AI's progress suggests we're on track for AGI by 2027. He said you don't need any secret info to see this coming, which is pretty mind-blowing if you think about it. This timeline is consistent with what other AI experts, including Sam Altman himself, have been saying. They've been predicting AGI within the next decade, and it looks like the consensus is leaning towards it happening sooner rather than later. So what does all this mean for the future, right? Well, if we do see AGI by 2027, it's going to have a massive impact on everything, from how we work and live to how we address global challenges. But it also means we need to be super careful about how we develop and deploy these powerful AI systems. That's where companies like SSI come in, focusing on making sure AI remains safe and beneficial for humanity, which is obviously super important. To wrap things up, let's reflect on the bigger picture here for a second. Ilya Sutskever's move to start SSI shows a strong commitment to AI safety. Despite all the drama at OpenAI, he's staying focused on what he believes is the most important challenge of our time, creating safe superintelligence. His new company, with its clear mission and talented team, is poised to make significant strides in this area, which is really exciting to think about. The insights from Daniel Cocotalo's interview also highlight the complexities and tensions within the AI industry. It's not just about making smart machines, it's about doing so responsibly and ethically, which is easier said than done, of course. The next few years are going to be crucial in shaping the future of AI, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolds. Google is working on a cool new AI experiment that could let you chat with celebrities, YouTube influencers, or even create your own chatbots. Soon, you might be able to have a conversation with a digital version of your favorite YouTuber right there on their YouTube channel. Also, in the second part of the video, we'll be talking about Amazon's new secretive chatbot that aims to rival ChatGPT, codenamed Metis. So stick around until the end because you don't want to miss these news. Alright, so Google is developing an AI project where you can chat with bots modeled after famous personalities or fictional characters. But you'll also be able to create your own chatbot by describing its personality and appearance. This project is part of Google's broader effort to integrate AI into more personalized and entertaining experiences. Now, this isn't like their Gemini project, which is about customized AI models called GEMs that help with specific tasks like coaching or coding. This new project is different. because it aims to mimic the way real people or characters respond. Think of it like character.ai, where you can chat with various personas from TV shows to real-life figures. Google's move into this space indicates a growing interest in personalized and interactive AI. It's similar to what Meta is doing with their celebrity AI chatbots, where you can chat with digital versions of celebrities like Snoop Dogg. By letting users create their own chatbots, Google provides a way to personalize digital interactions even more, potentially making online engagement more fun and immersive. One of the coolest parts of this project is how it could be integrated with YouTube. So, popular YouTube creators could have their own AI personas that you can chat with. It would totally boost engagement on their channels and give fans a new way to connect with them. It's a smart move because many influencers already have a super loyal following. Like Mr. Beast, for example, he already has an AI-powered chatbot on Meta's platforms. But having it directly integrated into his YouTube channel would make it way more convenient and definitely more popular. Right now, there isn't a specific release date for this chatbot platform. Google plans to test it first on the Google Labs page, where they show off all their experimental tools and projects. If you're curious about other AI experiments Google is working on, you can check them out at Google Labs. This technology opens up new possibilities for both fans and creators. Fans get a new way to engage with content, while influencers and celebrities can use these AI personas to enhance their brand and interact more with their audience. It's a win-win situation that could change how we interact with digital content. All right, now let's talk about some juicy insider info that's been leaked about Amazon's secret plans to take on ChatGPT. Now, we all know ChatGPT has been getting a lot of hype lately, and Amazon clearly wants a piece of the AI pie. Well, according to insider reports and internal documents obtained by Business Insider, Amazon has had a covert initiative dubbed Project Metis in the works. Yeah, they went all mythological with that code name, referring to the Greek goddess of wisdom. Fitting, right? So here's the lowdown on Metis. It's supposed to be this new AI service designed to go head-to-head against ChatGPT. You'll be able to access it right from your web browser, similar to how you interact with ChatGPT and other AI assistants out there. But Amazon isn't messing around here. Metis is going to be powered by their own supercharged AI model called Olympus. Another Greek god name? I love the theme they've got going. Apparently Olympus is an upgraded, more powerful version of Amazon's existing public Titan model. Now, at a basic level, Metis will be able to give you text and image-based responses in a smart, conversational way. So pretty similar to ChatGPT's capabilities. But here's where it gets interesting. Metis is expected to use this advanced technique called retrieval augmented generation. Basically, this means Metis won't just be limited to the data it was initially trained on. It'll actually be able to fetch and incorporate the latest up-to-date information from across the internet into its responses. So unlike some other AI assistants out there, Metis should theoretically be able to give you the current stock prices, latest news updates, and so on. The reports suggest that Metis is also going to function as an AI agent. For those not familiar, AI agents are capable of automating and carrying out complex tasks based on data. So in theory, Metis could potentially do things like turn on your smart home lights, book travel plans for you, and handle other automated processes. Wild, right? Now, Amazon is definitely a bit late to this AI assistant game. Their biggest rivals, Microsoft and Google, rolled out their own chatbots and AI assistants almost 2 years ago. And of course, OpenAI has been dumping billions into further developing ChatGPT over the years. There are also startups like Anthropic making waves in this space. From what insiders are saying, part of the reason Amazon is lagging is that their existing AI tech just isn't quite up to par with the competition yet. Their Titan model is viewed as less powerful, their AI chips have had performance issues, and they've struggled with things like low demand for certain offerings. Apparently, Amazon has even instructed some employees to help scrape data from open source platforms like GitHub to try and speed up training their AI models. So yeah, they're definitely playing catch up here, but here's the thing. Amazon's CEO Andy Jassy seems to be taking this Metis project very seriously. The reports mention that he's been directly involved, recently reviewing progress made by the team working on it. That team is part of Amazon's dedicated AGI group led by Rohit Prasad and Vishal Sharma. These are the folks tasked with building Amazon's most advanced, ambitious AI models and initiatives. What's also interesting is that Amazon seems to be leveraging resources and talent from its existing Alexa AI team for Metis. A good chunk of the employees working on the project actually came over from Alexa's AI division. There are also rumors that Metis could incorporate some underlying tech from an upgraded version of Alexa internally nicknamed Remarkable Alexa. So in a way, you could view Metis as the next evolution, bringing together Amazon's work across AI, voice assistance, automation, and more into one unified offering aimed at dethroning ChatGPT. Now, from what insider sources are saying, there's a tentative target to launch Metis around September of this year, potentially timed with one of Amazon's big annual Alexa events. But of course, that timeline could shift. There does seem to be some skepticism among folks involved, though. One person said it feels like Amazon is already too late to this AI chatbot party, questioning how much the company is truly committed to investing in and prioritizing Metis. The direct quote was, "Technically it will work, I guess, but the question is if it's already too late. We're playing chase." Wow, that's the most reassuring feedback you can hear from someone on the inside. But you know what? I'm still intrigued to see what Amazon brings to the table here. As one of the biggest tech companies with tons of resources at their disposal, if they go all in on this, who knows? Metis could potentially shake things up. At the end of the day, a bit of competition and new alternatives is great for consumers and will likely just push this AI assistant tech forward faster. I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on any Metis developments. Now, there is another interesting news in the tech world. OpenAI has just acquired a video collaboration platform called Multi, which was previously known as Remotion. This platform is designed for enterprise users and supports up to 10 people communicating via screen sharing with customizable shortcuts. The financial details of this deal haven't been disclosed yet. However, a source told TechCrunch that most of Multi's team, about 5 members, will join OpenAI once the deal is finalized. From beating us at chess to mastering high-level math, AI is rapidly closing the gap on human intelligence. But what stands between us and a future where machines outthink us in every way? All right, so we've got this report from Stanford University called the 2024 AI Index. It's a massive document, over 400 pages long, and it's giving us a clear picture of just how far AI has come. The headline? AI has gotten so advanced that it's now matching or even beating humans at some basic tasks. We're talking about things like reading comprehension, classifying images, and even high-level math. It's not just beating us at chess anymore, folks. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The report says that because AI is improving so fast, a lot of the tests we've been using to measure its performance are becoming outdated super quickly. It's like trying to use a ruler to measure a rocket ship. It just doesn't cut it anymore. The pace of progress is so rapid that researchers are struggling to keep up with creating new benchmarks. Let me give you an example. In the past, when researchers came up with a benchmark to test AI, it would stay relevant for maybe 5 to 10 years. And now these benchmarks are becoming irrelevant in just a year. That's how fast AI is progressing. Like the AI is learning the test and then surpassing it almost immediately. The report also talks about how AI is being used more and more in scientific research. There's a whole chapter dedicated to it this year, which is a first for this annual report. They mention projects like GNOME from Google DeepMind, which is helping chemists discover new materials. So essentially, AI is helping to create new substances that could revolutionize industries and solve global problems. Then there's GraphCast, another DeepMind tool that's doing rapid weather forecasting. We're talking about AI that could potentially predict weather patterns more accurately than our current methods. The implications for agriculture, disaster preparedness, and even daily life are huge. Now, the report also talks about this test called the Graduate Level Google Proof Q and a Benchmark, or GPQA for short. It's a set of over 400 multiple choice questions that are seriously tough, so basically a PhD level stuff. When they tested it on actual PhD scholars, they could only answer about 65% of the questions in their own field correctly. Outside their field, they dropped to 34%, even with access to the internet. That's pretty humbling, right? Now, last year, AI systems were scoring around 30 to 40% on this test. But this year, an AI called Claude 3 scored about 60%, which is a massive jump in just 1 year. It's kind of scary how fast these systems are improving. We're at a point where AI is starting to outperform humans even on complex, specialized knowledge tests. But all this progress comes at a cost. Literally, training these AI models is incredibly expensive. The report mentions that GPT-4, which powers ChatGPT, reportedly costs $78 million to train, and Google's chatbot Gemini Ultra a $191 million. That's not pocket change, folks. These numbers are like the GDP of small countries being poured into creating these AI systems. And it's not just money. These systems use a ton of energy and water to run and cool the data centers. It's raising serious questions about the environmental impact of AI development. Some researchers are even worried that we might run out of high-quality data to train these models on. Can you imagine running out of data on the internet? It sounds crazy, but it's a real concern in the AI community. The report also highlights a growing divide in how different countries view AI. Some nations are super excited about the potential of AI, while others are becoming increasingly pessimistic. This could lead to some interesting geopolitical dynamics in the future as countries race to develop and regulate AI technology. Speaking of regulation, the report notes a steep rise in regulatory interest in the United States. In 2016, there was just one US regulation that mentioned AI. Last year, there were 25. That's a huge increase, and it shows that policymakers are starting to take the potential impacts of AI seriously. Now let's talk about something called the singularity, which is a pretty wild concept. Basically, the singularity is this idea that at some point, maybe soon, AI will become smarter than humans in every single way. It's a big deal because it would be the first time in history that we'd be sharing the planet with something more intelligent than us. The idea of the singularity was popularized by a science fiction author named Vernor Vinge back in the 90s. The thinking goes like this. Once machines can learn by themselves, they'll eventually surpass us in every way we measure intelligence. It's not just about being better at math or having a bigger memory, but about AI that could potentially outthink us on creative, emotional, and philosophical levels. Now, we already know that computers are better than us at things like memory and calculations. But now, with these new AI systems, they're getting good at creative tasks, communication, language skills, reasoning, problem solving, and even showing signs of emotional intelligence. It's pretty wild when you think about it. We're creating machines that are starting to mimic and even exceed human capabilities in areas we thought were uniquely human. Some people think that once AI reaches a certain level, it'll be able to design even smarter AI by itself without any help from us. And this could lead to exponential growth in machine intelligence. Imagine an AI that's smarter than us, creating an AI that's even smarter, and so on. It's a scenario that could lead to an intelligence explosion that's hard for us to even comprehend. Now, opinions are split on whether this is a good thing or not. Some people are worried that super intelligent AI might not always have our best interests at heart. They're concerned about things like AI developing feelings of superiority or self-preservation that could make it dangerous to us. There are fears that an advanced AI might see humans as a threat or a hindrance and decide to act against us. It's the stuff of science fiction, but with the rate AI is advancing, some experts think it's a real possibility we need to consider. But on the flip side, there are people who are really optimistic about the singularity. They think it could lead to incredible technological advancements, like super smart computers coming up with solutions to all the world's problems, from environmental issues to curing diseases. Some even think it could make us immortal. The idea is that an AI with superhuman intelligence could solve problems that have stumped us for centuries, leading to breakthroughs in medicine, energy, space travel, and more. So when might this singularity happen? Well, opinions vary wildly. Ray Kurzweil, a well-known futurist, thinks it could happen between 2029 and 2045, based on how fast AI is progressing. He bases this on concepts like Moore's Law, which predicts the rate at which computing power increases. But others, like Rodney Brooks, who used to head up computer science and AI at MIT, think it's still centuries away. They argue that the computational power needed for true human-level AI is far beyond what we currently have or are likely to have in the near future. And then there are people like psychologist Steve Pinker who doubt it'll ever happen at all. Pinker argues that just because we can imagine something happening doesn't mean it's actually possible. He thinks there might be fundamental limits to artificial intelligence that we haven't yet discovered. Now, if you are thinking that with all these advances in AI, we must be pretty close to the singularity already, well, not quite. There are still some significant hurdles to overcome. You see, current AI systems are what we call narrow AI. They're designed for specific tasks or sets of tasks. For example, an AI that excels at playing chess isn't capable of driving a car or understanding human emotions. While these systems are impressive within their domains, they lack the ability to generalize and learn new tasks on their own the way humans can. To reach the singularity, we need to first develop artificial general intelligence, or AGI, which is an AI that can take what it learns about one task and apply it to learn how to do many different tasks, kind of like how we humans can. If you know how to ride a bicycle, you can probably figure out how to ride a motorcycle much more easily than someone who's never ridden anything. That's the kind of general learning and application of knowledge that we need to create in AI to get close to the singularity. Now, there are several major challenges we need to overcome to achieve AGI. We need AI systems that truly understand context and meaning, not just process patterns. We also need to develop AI that can reason abstractly and creatively, going beyond remixing existing information. Cracking the code on common sense reasoning is crucial too. Self-awareness and consciousness pose another challenge. We don't fully understand human consciousness, let alone how to replicate it. There's also the question of motivation and goals. How do we create AI with internal drives that align with human values? Hardware limitations are another obstacle. The human brain still outperforms supercomputers in energy efficiency and parallel processing. We may need new computing paradigms like quantum or neuromorphic chips for AGI. Despite these challenges, AGI research is progressing. Companies like DeepMind and OpenAI are working on more general AI systems. Promising areas include multimodal AI, meta-learning, and incorporating cognitive science into AI development. The development of AI isn't just a technical challenge, it's a societal one. We all have a stake in how this technology develops. Stay informed, ask questions, and be part of the conversation. The future of AI is being written now, and we all have a role in shaping it. That's all for today's deep dive into AI and the singularity. If you found this interesting, like, comment, and subscribe for more cutting-edge tech and AI content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.